going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Breaking Brown family? What is going on? How are you? I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day, had a wonderful holiday, and we're back here, ready to talk politics like we do every Monday and Wednesday. So, get your libations, get whatever you have, get your water, get your tea, get your chamomile, nothing caffeinated, hopefully, unless you're working night shift. Do what you got to do to get ready to have this conversation. And let me just do a little housekeeping. What's going on, fam? What's going on, everybody? Pamela, Lisa, Walter, Ra, what's going on? Listen, before we get started, as always, if you want to donate, you can go to donatebrown.com. You can go to patreon.com/ycarnell. You can also you can also subscribe to the channel. All of that stuff is wonderful and appreciated, and I love it. And share with your friends. Do all of that good stuff for me. But we got to talk about something. What's up, fam? What's up, Ken? We got to talk about some serious stuff, because there was something that came out today about betting, about people can, for those of you who don't know, I understand people lead busy lives, and there was a Supreme Court decision today that came down that basically will legalize sports betting, which now only happens in a few states, which includes Vegas, of course, right? So, but this will kind of, and I'm not going to get into, one thing I'm not going to get into is the law behind it, because a lot of people are saying, and I understand that if states can have this power, they can legalize marijuana or whatever. I'm not getting into that aspect of what's supposed to happen. Appreciate it, Prime Cody. I'm not getting into that aspect of it. What I want to talk about today, I want to talk about two things, really. I want to talk about, the first thing that I want to talk about is, I want to kind of get into not only this decision, but I want to kind of get into what gambling in our community, right? I want to, when we talk about people say, well, they can already bet on games. Yeah, you can go to Nevada, right? And you can bet, and there are a few other states, but it was like, if you were already doing this when Congress passed this law, your state can keep doing it. But other states can't bet on games or whatever. Betting on games is supposed to be a wholesome thing, according to, lawmakers, that people do. And so we're getting into this space. And this is a space that we're in quite often, where a lot of money is about to be created. And I call this sort of like what I say in terms of wealth redistribution, right? So there's a lot of capital. And I used to say white capital. I don't say white capital as much anymore, because is there any other kind of capital? It's just a question I want to ask. Is there any other kind of capital? I don't think so. So people have already been doing this fantasy thing, right? They've been doing this fantasy thing, kind of playing online with the fantasy or whatever. They're doing this thing online with what we're looking at right now in terms of FanDuel. There are other companies that do that sort of thing, but that's not the same thing as allowing betting. You're talking about this fantasy sports arena, and they say that is more about skill than anything else. So it's technically not betting on sports, and you can still bet on sports, but most of that stuff right now is like it's done. You log onto a website or whatever, but it's another country. You have an app, but it's not here. So it's kind of done in secret. And so people are saying, in terms of the pro argument, well, we're going to regulate this industry. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to regulate it. And we'll bring it into the light, and it'll protect consumers. And what I want to talk about is how this really doesn't make a lot of sense for us. I'm talking, see, one of the things that we have to do as a group of people, we have to start talking about what makes sense for our community. Not what makes sense generally, not what makes sense hypothetically, not what makes sense theoretically, but what makes sense for us as a group of people who come from slaves and who have been sustained, marginalized in this country. What makes sense for us? And the argument that I want to make is this whole sports betting thing is like one of the worst things that could have happened to us. Given wealth calcification, given how we're designated to be on the bottom economically in this country, it is awful for us. And let me tell you why. I want to give you a specific kind of, and I want to frame this in a way. Everybody knows I try to frame things when we have this conversation. we have become, as a group of people, we have become sort of, the best way to describe it is we have become addicted to what we see as another way to make money, which is actually a way to lose money. Let me say that again. We have become addicted to what we see as a way to make money, which is actually another way to lose money. So we look at something and we see it. This is going to be my second income. This is going to be my residual income. And really, it has been set up as a way to extract money from you. And understand that these capitalists they are experts at delving ways to extract money from even poor people. What do you mean, Yvette? Well, we can talk about payday loans. We could talk about subprimes. We could talk about a lot of ways that they have created to extract money from people who already don't have money, and they don't care. If you go into like a lot of these places that have slots machines, you can start playing with a penny. That's all you need. You don't need much more than that. And the game, and we're not talking, I just want to give you an idea of betting in general. I like the problem with it, and we're going to talk about sports betting. We're going to talk about specifically what that means. But right now, let's just even with the slots, it's designed just to keep you sitting there and becoming comfortable. And they do studies on how much you're worth, how much they can expect from you within a certain time frame. All of that stuff is what they do. See, what you have to understand is the penny is like a gateway to the rest of your money. So you'll say to yourself, well, it's just a penny. But the penny is like, that's a gateway to get access to your bank account and to keep you coming back. And they find ways. They have these little cards they give you with your customer loyalty cards. And sometimes they put a little bit of money on there, right? And they'll say, well, you won $20 or you won $10. You know, this is your customer loyalty, and somebody will come there and say, I can make something happen with that $10, because one of the things that we feel about gambling, we feel like somehow we have some type of agency. It gives us the illusion of agency, but that's the way it is with a lot of things. It gives us like this illusion that somehow we have agency that we really don't have. But we believe, well, I have agency. I don't know what you're talking about, Yvette. I mean, because I know the last time I was at that slide, I did this and I did that and I did this. So if you talking about, I know, see, you don't understand how I play. And then when I play at that slide, and this casino is better than this casino. And so you just don't understand because you don't do it as much as me. And that's kind of where we are. Look at this. This is just, I'll bring it up bigger. It's just a lot of us kind of gambling. And that's what we're doing. So when you ask yourself, how will sports gambling be any different? One of the things that you're sure to find, one of the things that you're almost sure to find, I won't even say almost, you're probably going to find it regardless, is that this kind of sports gambling is going to, right now you have a lot of women in gambling. You have a lot of women, you have a lot of elderly people, right? Got a little money, got a little pension, got a little time on their hands. But what happens as this thing goes is that they're going to wrap up men into this same thing. And so what we have seen, even when y'all saw me criticize cryptocurrency, right? Even when y'all saw me do that, what you saw me criticizing was like this thing that didn't make any sense. You saw me criticizing, you know, this way to make money that people thought was a way to make money and make quick money, which was a way to lose money. So you notice you don't really hear people talking about crypto anymore. You don't hear many black people going on about crypto anymore. But that was just a way to lose money, because do you know how many, what I tried to explain on the show then, do you know how many currencies there are? Do you know how much you will have to know to learn about all of them? Do you know how much you will have to know to investigate all of them? And do you know how much of that your time is going to take to figure that out? Same thing with MLMs, right? Same thing. So the question becomes, why do we kind of view ways that are really ways to lose money as ways to make money? And what is the consequence of this betting? And what will be our solution? If you know, it's coming. There are states like New Jersey is the state that, like Chris Christie and bringing this lawsuit, is coming. So what do you do when it comes to your state? What do you do when this is your community? So that's a question that we also have to ask, and we have to answer. But one of the things that I'm going to say is this, is just, there's a great study, and let me just see if I can bring this study up right now. And it talks about something that I found very interesting, which is gambling as a search for justice, right? Examining the role of personal relative deprivation in gambling urges and gambling behavior. And what they find is that in groups of people where there's a certain amount of resentment, who might that be, ladies and gentlemen? And it's righteous resentment, right? But among those groups, you see more of a likelihood for that group to gamble, for that group to try to make up for what was taken away from us in terms of policies that were designed to keep us on the bottom. You find our groups trying to make up for that in the casino. Now, when you ask me, well, Yvette, why do you want to do politics? Because y'all are trying to do, listen, a lot of y'all are trying to do politics too. But you're trying to do politics in the casino. You're trying to do politics in terms of how you make a bet. You're trying to do politics in an MLM scheme. You're trying to do politics with Herbalife. That's not your politics. I'm only asking you to do politics in the political realm. I'm only asking you, or hoping that you understand, that your politics is in the political arena. You can't do politics. You can't make up for what you didn't get. You can't make up for that by trying to do politics with a slot machine. It's not going to happen. It will not happen. It cannot happen. So when I ask you, when I talk about it, I'm just trying to get you to understand that a lot of us are in the wrong arena for doing politics. You're trying to get that money. You're trying to get what was taken from us in terms of institutional laws that were put in place to strip us of wealth and opportunity. You're trying to get it, but you're trying to get it at the casino. But the house always wins, and they design their slot machines to be addictive. Just like Instagram and all this stuff is designed to keep you scrolling. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to keep you invested, right? That's what it's designed to do. So if you are going to expand that arena, what I'm telling you is that there are going to be consequences. And what I want to talk about is like the consequences and what we do. When you want to talk about solutions, what are the solutions for this thing that they just passed? They talking about you can bet on these games. I have not been in a room. Understand me, black people. I have not been in a room, and I gotta get on black men today. I have not been in a room and heard black men discuss sports where somebody don't think they know everything. Well, what do you mean, Yvette? Well, you go in there. Well, let me tell you. See, the problem is he ran to the left when he should have went to the right. And see, he ain't gonna do that next game. See, I've been watching him. He ain't gonna do that next game. What you say? You say what? Are you an expert? Yeah, I've been watching him for years. I can tell you what LeBron gonna do. And LeBron ain't gonna do that. See, LeBron had his thing and ain't nobody picked up on it. What? Ain't nobody picked up on it? Yeah. Or you watching football, see, he ain't cut right. That's how his one foot got out of bounds. He ain't cut right. He should have cut back to the left. Well, it was about 11 Negroes chasing him right. Yeah, but see, if he had cut just right, he would have got it. But see, it's another boy that played for the Cardinals or whatever, but he cut like that. Now, I'm going to bet on him. Understand that this whole thing where we become pseudo-experts and believe that that's going to be our end is going to be our undoing. Because you're trying to get politics by what you think you know about sports. And what these people who are bringing these casinos in or expanding casinos, because what this is going to mean is it's going to be a lot more revenue. Like, so the casinos they've been making money, a lot of them now. It's a sketchy business sometimes. Sometimes they don't do as good as they think they're going to do. But the casinos that have been making money, once they add this sports betting on, they're going to make a whole lot more money. And so what you're going to see is that a lot of states saying, we want that revenue too. We want that money. How do we get that money too? We want to play this game. We want to get all this money in here. And one of the things that when we talk about solutions, well, I'll get to that in a second, but there's a lot you're going to have to do in terms of your community and in terms of how you assess everything in your life, how you assess the people in your life. Let me tell you something. Let me put up another. I went to one of the things that I've been trying to, because I kind of think, just between me and you, Breaking Brown fam, I think I've been studying addiction because I think we're addicted to, like, as a community, is to like finding these loopholes or what we think are loopholes. And so when I looked at gambling, I wanted to know, well, what are the risk factors for being a gambling addict? Well, one of them is living near a casino, which is exactly why you should get these casinos out of your community or make sure they don't come into your community. Because when we talk about the rest of America eating off black failure, one of the ways they do that, they put the stuff that attracts crime and the stuff that attracts like people that you don't want in your community, they put that in our community. We got nuclear facilities, things that burp out gas, all kinds of weird facilities. We got all kinds of prostitution houses. Like there's a lot of stuff. If you read Color of Law, it really talks about the stuff that gets put in our community, right? And I think what you're going to see these casinos. Like when they expand, they're going to expand in our communities and bring an element that we don't need in our communities. So that's one of the things. If you live in an area, though, if you live in an area that has these casinos, you're more likely, according to addiction experts, you're more likely to become a gambling addict. That's one of the risk factors. So why would you want that in your community? Because you have somebody in your community who feels aggrieved and feel like they didn't get what they should have got out of life, and which is probably, there's some truth to that if you're African American, you're Native Black American. There is some truth to that, but you're not going to make up for that in the casino, but that's what they believe, and that's their only option, and it's down the street. What you going to do? You're going to barbecue a meal, right? So, but there was another risk factor that kind of stood out for me. And that risk factor was being African American. If you are African American, you're more likely to become a gambling addict. Isn't that something? And let me just bring up a little bit bigger so everybody can see. But look at this. It says being African American, although the majority of compulsive gamblers are white, compulsive gambling and its lesser cousin, problem gambling, are proportionately higher among African Americans. The reason for this elevated risk are poorly understood. Well, I think I understand it quite well. There's a lack of opportunity. There's a lack of access to wealth. And there's nobody or very few people out in our community who are advocating that we do politics and get what we deserve, but they're putting a lot of fake alternatives in our community. And they're going to be near shopping. These are going to be likely won't be casinos. These are going to be like, they're going to put these new betting shops. What we talk about sports betting. They're not going to do what they normally do. See, they always find a way around it, right? So we've been pushing back hard against these casinos, and we're not going to let them come in our community. So guess what they're going to do? They could start putting like these little sports betting centers in like Payless, payday loan centers, or in a shopping mall where you can just go in there and bet on a game or whatever. So they don't have to have a casino. They can just have an extraction point for your money. So they could put a betting machine in a mall or something and have an extraction point for your money without building a casino. So they don't even have to build the structure anymore. So it will reduce the amount that they have to put into it by just putting a machine. They could put a machine in your local 7-Eleven. And just like you have lottery machines that you can buy scratch outs, they could have a machine in there where you could play on it, where you could play where you could bet on a game. Simple, easy. But you gotta start. You want a solution? One solution is that you gotta start thinking about these places where you bet or where you buy a lottery ticket as wealth, or it ain't wealth because we don't have no wealth. Wealth is intergenerational. But you got to think of it as cash extraction points. Places where people just get your money. This right here is a cash extraction point. That's all it is. So when you see that, you got it, but you really want to push for that not to come to your community. And you want to push whether it's your city council, whoever it is, you want to push and say, listen, first of all, I don't want it here. Right? I don't want it here. And you're going to have meetings if you decide to put it here. Or we're not going to even come to your store if you try to put it here. We don't want this here. Because having these betting facilities or whatever you want to call them, where people bet on sports, is going to become a problem. And you're like, well, Yvette, I don't understand why you see it as a problem. I don't really see it as a problem. Well, here's another. We got other studies. This is, I think, from NIH. Problem gambling risk higher in low income areas. Just is what it is. I'm not making this up. It's just the truth. Because everybody's looking for an escape hatch. And politics is hard work. And it's stop and start. And sometimes you just fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. And it's still hard. But so nobody wants to do the hard work. So I want to go here. And I'm not trying to do anything for the community. I just want to go here and get out as quick as I can. Okay? Can I just go here and get out as quick as I can? I can't be worried about you and all these other people. I want to go here and hit it big and dash out. And we have these dreams. Like we're poor, but I mentioned this before, but we have these dreams that go with like aristocrats. And these people don't make it easy. Like, I'm going to tell you a story. I don't live in a wealthy neighborhood. I live in a black neighborhood. And I have seen 2 Rolls Royce Phantoms and a Bentley in the course of like 3 weeks. Why are you here? Why are you here? What are you here for? To make people dream of this garbage, and you don't even look, what are you here? Like we've gotten into this space that people just come around to show off. Like, yeah, just look at me. But then, like, you would get mad if somebody throw some sand in your car. Like, what are you here for? Except to make people dream dreams they don't need to dream. And then we go and we follow it on Instagram, and we watch all these little stupid stuff about what these celebrities do with stuff they ain't got. I mean, I'm sure you all saw the stories. Brian McKnight, Neo, both of them got caught up in some kind of scam, and we be talking about they doing business. We talked all last week about the implosion of celebrity. Now we're going to have to talk about the implosion of sports. Because when you start doing this sports betting stuff, what's going to happen is that when people start doing that, you're going to have to let that go. No. I'm not doing that. Because at that point, see, you have to understand, people are saying, well, the state gets to determine what happens. No, you could conceivably be able to bet on who fouls out first, who goes out of bounds first, who makes the first tackle. So understand how that changes. Isn't there a game on right now? Is your spouse or partner in the other room watching the game while you watching politics? I want you to tell me how that relationship's gonna work. If you're a heterosexual woman, if you're a guy, is your girl watching Love and Hip Hop or watching some reality TV? How is that relationship gonna work? I don't know. You tell me. You have to start assessing people, because what's gonna happen when this betting stuff starts is very simple. It's very, very simple. And not only what's going to happen when you have the betting, see, part of the problem is we can't even see a kid's potential because you think he's going to be X, Y, Z. You think no, Yvette, you don't understand. He's going to be this because this is what football or basketball does. And he's going to be this. So you can't. So one thing that you have is that sports blinds you because everybody think they baby going to be, little Raekwon, he's going to be the next LeBron James. Child, can you please stop? No, he ain't. And even if he was, I'm interested in community uplift. I'm not interested in your individual uplift. That's where men, like a lot of black capitalists, go. I'm not interested in just like you as an individual, uplifting your individual self. I'm just not. So what's going to happen And what people don't even understand that's going to happen is that you're going to have this situation. You're going to have a situation where you don't understand your child's potential because you're looking at him as Lex LeBron. And you don't even ask yourself, why would I want my child to be the next LeBron James? I mean, as just as an individual. I mean, you are watching my show, but you want to build a super capitalist, not a community. See, you want to build a super capitalist where I'm interested in building a community. I don't want to build a super capitalist. I want to build a community of black people who have decent lives and who have stability and don't have to be on the bottom. I'm not interested in building a super capitalist. You're watching this show, but in your mind, you're thinking you're going to build a super capitalist. We are not the same. It is what it is. So, when you see this advent of sports betting, you have to understand we already have a betting culture. I remember when I was at Howard University, they used to play spades for money in the dorms. So the thing that I understand is that we already were on the bottom and we already have a betting culture. That's going to become a problem. And I just want to play you a quick video. This video is from Penn Law. And it kind of goes to the problem of betting amongst black communities and black people. So let me play that and we'll come right back.
The traditional forms of gambling in the black community have been replaced by casinos. The following three people were waiting at a bus stop after leaving the casino. They shared their opinions concerning the effects of gambling on the elderly, the disabled, and the community at large.
When the Atlantic City casinos were open, it took you a little time to get there to lose your money. But this way, in the inner city, you only have like a 15 or 20-minute ride. And most of the time you're going to lose. And you find a lot of senior citizens, some of them have 2 or 3 incomes coming in behind their Social Security, their pensions, then they have their husband's pensions, then they have their husband's deceased. And you'd be surprised how much money these senior citizens have. And I know that they lose a lot.
Oh, I went in and got my card, my new card. So they put $20 on it, okay? So I put it in there, and it was going up, $25, it was going like in 15 minutes. It was out of it. That was it. Done.
Well, do you know anyone who's ever been addicted?
My sister, she is, yes.
And what kind of effect has it had on her?
It's just like somebody, I would say it's just the same thing as somebody doing drugs.
I lost my money. I was in there. I thought to hit, but I didn't. I lost on the table, and I lost the machine. And $20. But I think they had a lot of money going there because the city right here, you don't pay a lot of people enough money to hit the car. But I like the better than one in New Jersey. New Jersey one, get a lot of money. But I here, the city people, they ain't worth it. They ain't worth it. But it's nice in there. It's not like a lot like a lot machine, but it's all right.
Many of the traditional forms of
Listen, some of you commented that like it was a very sad video, and it was. But I'm gonna ask a very uncomfortable question, or I'm gonna make a very uncomfortable comment in terms of how we make self-assessment. Because one of the solutions is how we make self-assessment. So this gentleman with the thing in his throat, trachea, what is it called? I don't know. But he has this thing in his throat. Now let me ask you something though. Let me ask you something. A lot of people are like, oh, it's so sad he's disabled or whatever. But let me ask you something. How many of y'all if this dude, you know, who would probably bet that neck piece, right? He would probably bet that neck piece. He's talking about, well, it was $20. But now you would probably bet what's going on, your health, for what's going on inside of there. Because in your mind, if in your mind, that casino is your health care. It is your route to a surgery. So you don't want to help me fight for health care. You want to go in there and try to get your health care with that $20. And it's probably more than that. Everybody kind of dumbs it down. I ain't spent but 20. You know, it wasn't no thing. And I'm back on the bus. You on the bus? You on the bus in there? So instead of taking whatever $20 you get for a car, you on the bus, you come to the bus for there. Let me ask you a question, though. I just want to know. If this dude came to you and said, let me borrow $20. Can I borrow $20? If he came to you, and I'm not mocking him, but I say it that way because that's kind of what's going to get sympathy from you. And you're going to give him the $20. You're going to be like, oh, you know, he got the neck thing and he messed up. I just want to help him out. You know, he be around and, you know, he ain't right, Yvette. So I did it. And you don't really understand that, like, something that's happening in the black community is that those of us who are responsible, who don't gamble, who do not gamble, like I've been to Vegas before in my life, I ain't gambled not $1. But we don't understand that those of us who are responsible, who don't gamble, end up giving $20 to him. And he go gamble, so like what you end up doing is like paying the cost for somebody else who is being irresponsible, who don't want to do politics, and we don't try to make them do it because, you know, he got the thing in his neck. Let him, you know, give him the $20. And we don't understand, no, I'm not enabling you to go do some stuff. You don't do politics. I'm not going to give you the $20. I don't gamble. So why do I give you the money to gamble? No, you got to live with the consequence of not having that $20 because you did the wrong thing with your last $20. And we're going to have to do like that the woman, like she's somebody, like you look at her and be like, yeah, she's somebody's grandmama, auntie. And auntie came by here and auntie wanted $40 and I gave auntie $40. You know, she retired. She ain't got much money. And you don't know that, like, no, auntie be over here. Auntie be over here betting money. And you talk about auntie don't have money, but auntie, you don't know she caught the bus to the casino. And you don't know the reason that auntie don't really want to, you know, auntie ain't really into doing politics. And you don't understand part of the reason auntie ain't into doing politics is because auntie be at the casino. And the casino is auntie politics. The casino is grandmama politics. She go over there and she thinks she gonna win big. And that's how she thinks. And she tells herself, when I hit this big thing at the slots, I'm gonna hook you up. She thinks that's the answer. And that's what we have. And what I'm telling you with sports betting, you're going to have this get worse because you're going to have more people with these little cash extraction points going there and saying, yeah, and let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have men watching TV saying, and you're going to be like, you watching that game? You just watched. I didn't even think you watched basketball and football. You watch everything. And he going to be like, yeah, you know, this our wealth plan. I'm doing this betting. I got 50 on this one and 50 on this one. And I'm hedging my bets. So I put 20 on all of them. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait. So you just took $300 out of this house for the week. But to you think that is what? You think that's a wealth building plan. That's what you think? You think that's what we about to do? See, one of the things that nobody wants to view as a solution, we have to start seeing very clearly who people are. That's part of the solution. I have to see very clearly that you either like to gamble or you're a problematic gambler or you're a gambling addict or whatever. And I have to see, you got people out here who will drive Uber. So wait a minute, you work 4 hours for that money and you about to go take it to the slots? And then when you take it, you want to come back to me and, well, you know, I was trying to do my, you know, I put it on here, but then I put it on this football team, but I didn't expect the running back to run to the right because he normally runs to the left, but he ran to the left, so I lost that first bet because my bet was that the quarterback was going to come out the pocket and go to the left. I'm sorry, what? What happened? Excuse me? See, these are things that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about it. You know, one of the things that's going to happen too, and I've talked about this, one of the things that we're going to have to figure out in terms of solutions, again, we're going to have to figure out who to exclude. So y'all will exclude the person who's like a gambling addict or whatever, right? Or maybe try to get him some help. But then the person who comes into your house and you say, oh, she graduated from Howard, or she graduated from Spelman, or he graduated from Morehouse, or he graduated from Hampton. And you'll say, well, what do you do for a living? And she or he will say, well, you know, I'm a VP at GambleCon. Wait a minute, is that the company that's putting all these casinos in black neighborhoods? Yeah, I'm the VP there. I go out and I scout out all the stuff. I scout out everything and I figure out where the best place is for us to put our casinos. And yeah, I get paid good money though. I get paid $150 to do that, and I do that's a really good job. And you gotta be like, get out my house. You gotta treat that person like the dope man. If somebody came in your house and said, yeah, I sell crack, you want some? You say, get out my house. But when somebody comes in with a degree who says, I work for GambleCon Inc., you be like, oh, is that a really good job? Well, that's so wonderful for you. No, get out my house. Leave. Right now. What did Martin used to say? Get to stepping. You got to leave because you're a part of what's bringing this toxic stuff into my community. These points to just extract cash. So you never, like, you don't even know where they're going to put these things up at. It could be like let's say you in a black community and you have a bar that you frequent. Like you go to work every week and every Friday night you meet up with the boys or the girls and y'all have a drink, right? Now you know what happens when you have a drink. Your inhibitions are lowered. So stuff that you might not normally do while you're sober, you'll do after you had a drink. So they could come in and tell your bar, listen, we're going to give y'all a cut of the proceeds if you let us put this betting machine in here. So you got these, in every bar I've ever been to, you have these things, these screens and big TVs where they play games. So you're watching that game and you're drinking alcohol and you could have a betting machine nearby conceivably because the states are going to determine these rules, right? This is what states are going to do. You could conceivably have either at the bar or somewhere nearby. It could be the 7-Eleven across the street. You could have these machines. Somebody, I'm finna go over here and bet. I think that boy look good today. I'm finna go across the street or wherever, or down the street or in the bar or wherever and bet. And bet on this. And I'm finna go bet on this and get some money off this because you're drinking and your inhibitions are down and you think you know something, right? And so people are going to start, listen, people are going to start doing like little MLM scams on this too. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes up with some classes on how to bet on these sports teams. Teaching you how to bet and how to do bet and how to make money and promising you you're going to be a millionaire. Because that's how it happens. This is where we are. Right? It's a problem. But what happens when you don't see it as a problem? This is a problem for our community. So you might have your boyfriend or your husband. He just went to the bar with friends. He's been going to the bar with friends on Friday or Saturday for 5 years. And you ain't never had no problem. He go there. He have 3 or 4 Bud Lights. And they drop him off home. And no problem, right? But now they got these gamblers. You didn't even you didn't even think you were in with an addict. You say, I didn't know. Yes, you did. He's always had this predilection for thinking that he's going to be something that he wasn't. But now he has an avenue with which to do it. You're going to have to become very good at assessing people. You're going to have to become very good at assessing the people in your life. You're going to have to become very good at the people who you allow to be in your life. If you have somebody and they on there, well, hold on, babe. I'm just checking my fantasy football. Hold on 1 second. Let me just watch. I got to change that. Yeah, I'm going to bet on him. Don't worry. We finna make it big. You can't go out no more with him. No. You just got to, okay, all right. It's over. And another thing that's going to make this so problematic is that we have a relationship, a bad relationship with celebrity. Well, what do you mean, Yvette? Well, you look at LeBron or you look at other. I don't even know who plays in the league no more. I don't watch sport. But you look at these people, whoever they might be, and you think that like that's my boy. You know, that's my boy right there. I always pay attention to him, and you know I'm gonna bet on him today. He the home team. You know he went to high school with my cousin. That gotta do with anything. Don't matter. Well, no, they were talking about how, you know, he been working out over there at the thing, and I think when he get back, you know, the first game he gonna win and he gonna score first. And I'm gonna tell you what the spread gonna be. So I'm finna go over here and put $40 on it. I'm gonna go over here and put $40 on it, and I think, but I'm gonna hedge that bet too because I'm gonna put 20 on the other team. But you know, since they doing that, I'm kind of into hockey a little bit too because I always kind of like it to do, you know, white boy sport, but I like it. So I'm gonna go over here. Wait a minute. Middle black families worth, once you take out these depreciating assets, about $1,400. Now you done basically told me you about to go take 100 of that and go put it on sports. That's gonna be our next wealth building mechanism. So it's not Herbalife no more. It's not cryptocurrency. Or maybe you do cryptocurrency on Sundays after the game. So you got all these stuff. You don't want to do politics. You got all these little weird things going on at the same time. Come on, man. And they're going to use our celebrities to sell this stuff. They're going to get old Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson still wear his hat cocked to the same with all this jewelry. And you got to be 45. What are you doing? They're going to get him out here saying, yeah, bet on this and use this bet. And they, you know, somebody, you know, Diddy just lay off a bunch of people with revolt. Well, we got this new, you got to bet with Diddy bet or whatever. So anything that they can use because they know we have a relationship with celebrity that's toxic. Black celebrity is toxic. And one of the things that we're going to have to do, you got to turn the TV off. Like, you can't be watching all these sports and all these games, and especially when they insert that into it. We haven't even talked about what do college sports do. We haven't even talked about that. What happens? These kids already aren't getting paid, right? So what happens when people start coming to them and saying, hey, I put $300,000 on this game. I need you not to play your best. Or whatever. That's why the NCAA, I think they said that they weren't in favor of the betting. But what happens? Do we get to talk about what happens? And what happens to these kids? Because they don't have any money. They're trying to get some money. They don't have any money. They're impoverished black kids. And who gets punished for it? Have we talked about whether or not we're going to have any addiction facilities? How much money is going to be allotted for addiction? For gambling addiction, when you put these cash extraction points in our community for us to make bets. And people say, well, the state needs money. Well, the state got to find another way to make money. It's a shame that the states have to make money from eating off its citizens' failure. And when you go to a casino, you're just failing. And I'm not a competitive person, so I can go to a casino and I'm never going to put anything in a slot because I don't want it. I'm not trying to feel better about myself. I'm not trying to go home with a bunch of money and show you that I can have a new pair of shoes. I don't care. You can do what you want to do. I don't care. The only thing I want is there a nice burrito around here anywhere? Like, I don't care. But we have this whole dysfunctional setup. And so the NCAA, you know, is set up in a way that's dysfunctional for kids, but this is going to make it more dysfunctional. They're going to get more millions, and I don't even know if these kids are ever going to get paid. But as always, capital will do so much better. And those of us who make money for capital will do so much worse. And we don't even understand why we should be opposed to it. We're going to sit around and play expert. Like we understand what's happening. Like we understand what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we're about to do. This is going to be such a problem. I think one of the things that we have to do is that we have to fight this in our own communities. I think we have to find out. There was a list online earlier today which showed which communities are most likely. And I'm happy there are some other, like News One agreed, there was a writer who agreed like we should have this in our community. But I think one of the things that we have to do in reaction to this is that we have to find out, okay, is that coming? Is it already here in my community? Is there a bill in my assembly that's going to bring it here? And where is it going to bring it to? Is it going to bring it to my neighborhood or a black neighborhood? And how do I organize around fighting that and pushing that out and away from my community? How do I get outside of that? How do we get outside of that? I think that's what we have to pay attention to. That's not fun work. That's not good work, but it's work that has to be done. And one of the things that I'll say too, when we talk about solutions, you know, we talk a lot about solutions, but if you looked at that clip I showed a little while ago, one of the things that it said, or was said, is that a lot of the people who are, or a good many of the people who are gambling are actually older people, right? So there's some stuff we have to do with the older people in our community as well. You know, and we have to deal with that. Like, these people caught the bus, but one of the things that's happened is that you gotta catch the bus, or you gotta drive, or you got like you know, like older people, they have to get on the bus to go to a casino. So you have to get on the bus to go to Harrah's, and you might be on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever. One of the things that has always protected us is that there has been a good amount of distance between us and the casino. And now these casinos or these betting machines are coming into our communities and into our stores. But what's happened is that distance that has saved us to a certain extent is right back up on us. And what do you do when that happens? You have to get the lotto out of, you know, this NBA out your house. Like, I don't want to watch this because I'm going to want to bet, or we going to bet, or whatever. Or I'm going to be talking to friends who like, you going to bet, or you going to bet on this, or how much you going to put, or what's the spread. I don't want to do it no more. I just opt out. You have to opt out. And even when you talk to your family, you have family, you have a mother, you have a father who they're betting and doing stuff now. You're going to have to figure that out. Like, we're going to have to start figuring inheritance out. Or what do you mean, Yvette? I mean, like, if you got a daddy or a mama who's just in a casino and they be gambling or whatever, you might have to get put on it. You do have to get put on a deed or whatever, because they could gamble away your house. When they die, you figure out they got a second mortgage, and then a mortgage their whole life away at the casino, and you didn't know nothing about it because you didn't ask nothing about it. Well, I need to be on there with you. Because whatever happens, I needed to have 2 signatures. Because we got to start letting people know this is communal wealth. This is not individual wealth. You don't get to just, well, it's my house. No, it ain't that no more. It ain't how it works. This is communal wealth. This is supposed to be passed down, intergenerational. You get to pass this down to me. You don't get to get old and think, well, I didn't get enough out of my life, and then go gamble it away and say, well, it was my house. No. You got to start having uncomfortable conversations with these people about what they're doing with the communal wealth, what they're doing with the family wealth. You got to start having that conversation. It ain't going to be nice. It ain't going to be happy, because black people, we love to avoid stuff. Well, I don't want to, that makes mama upset. Well, daddy get aggravated whenever we bring up his gambling. Don't nobody care? Hey, can you come right here and tell me what you're doing? I heard you be there every week. What's going on? Okay, I need this paperwork changed so me and you both be on the paperwork. And do we have a will? I need that too, because I don't need to be in no probate, everybody fighting. We need to get all that together. Can we get that together right now? And you need to just look at them. Because black people love to just hit, well, no, ain't no hit. Right now. I'm not playing these games where you get to feel nostalgic and what I work and no, you can't lose everything at the end. We already don't have nothing. You can't lose what we do have at the end because you went to the casino. Because there was this whole thing about how people get older. They get older in age, and then all of a sudden they develop like this gambling problem. That was in the Philly, I think it was in Pennsylvania, where they were talking about the video I shared earlier. I think it was Pennsylvania. And they were talking about how, like, some of this happens, like, later in life. And then, this is going to be a problem. Like, you become 60 and you're like, I didn't get everything I wanted. I didn't fight for it either, but I'm going to go to the casino. And I might hit it big. And you putting your whole Social Security check, your whole pension. And so, well, I need some extra money, so I'm going to take out a reverse mortgage. Or I'm going to take out a second mortgage. I think I'm going to take all the equity out of this house. And so you get the house as the kid of that person. And they've used it as leverage to bet. And you didn't know anything about it. I understand that listen, people don't want to hear it, but these are practical solutions. You know, there's this thing called, when people say, well, I can fix myself, or I can fix this gambling addiction or any kind of addiction. And I think of this, you know, I was listening to a podcast earlier on Reveal. And you can look up Reveal on your whatever you use to listen to podcasts. And they were saying that addiction is based on trauma. It's not like this thing that you just choose, like not to do X, Y, and Z. It's based on trauma, childhood trauma a lot of times, right? So one of the things that I read, I think it was, like I mentioned before, God by my take was like, you know, trauma is not about what happens to you as much as it is about what happens inside of you when that happens, when whatever happens to you. So, you know, one of the things that I will say is that I was listening to that Reveal podcast, and it was about education. And there was this boy in the podcast, little black boy, from what I could, you know, ascertain, and his mother was on drugs, and like leaf or something I'd never heard of, and his father was in prison, and they did a project where they wrote his father a letter in prison. The father never responded to the letter, from his son, and then the mother stabbed the boyfriend. Social workers came and took the boy, and his siblings, and he turned to his teacher and said, now we're going to be split up. Right? And so whether you realize it or not, that is severe trauma. And whether you realize it or not, there are a lot of Native black people who have experienced some kind of severe trauma in childhood, which makes you the best ground, perfect seed ground for addiction. Different kinds of addiction. Just saying, you know, people say, well, no, I just didn't go in that crack house. No, it's not about that. It's about needing to, like, this trauma that you're dealing with. Right? And so we have to deal with that trauma. And you don't deal with that trauma by an addiction, but that's all people have. And that's what it leads to. Now, when you talk about fixing the addiction, it's something called neuroplasticity. But what they tell you about neuroplasticity is that you have to have the right conditions. And we never really get the right conditions. Not only do we not get the right conditions, we get vultures that come in our community to make money off of what happened to us. So we're messed up because of what happened to us, because of racism in this country. And not only do we not get help, we get people coming in and say, you know what, you're a perfect person to become an addict. I'm going to put a casino in your 7-Eleven. You can bet on the games. Thank me later. And we don't see a problem. And we'll have people just going around saying, yeah, we just make bad choices. No, it's not about choice. It's not about choice. It's not about choice at all. I don't want sports to be an advertisement for gambling. That's not what I want. I want a lot of things, but that's not one of them. I don't want any of that. And so I think, you know, you already see a lot of people now saying like, hey, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. You can have a mate in your house who thinks that, like, well, I'm watching basketball, but I'm working. Cause see, this is how I bet, and I'm a professional sports bettor. So you guys just let me watch all these games, and that's just what I do. And then the thing about gambling addicts is what they do is that they come up like 300 one month, and it's like a big deal. But you're down like 2,000. But this is your job now. This is your job. You're a professional bettor, and you got all the stats. See, I be in here writing on notebooks. Really? All right. Okay. All right. If you say so, that's what you do. I know that's what you do. So you have to have a come to you kind of have to have a come to Jesus meeting. And it kind of doesn't make a difference if the gambling business person is a black female or black male. It's all destructive. Like, you got to understand that destroying black families, like, listen, destroying black families is not a way to build black business. Destroying black families is not a way to build black business. I don't care if it's a man or a woman, and they come and I'm VP of just like when remember when the subprime came and we had all these people over there talking about, well, I sell for Countrywide or whatever, and I can get you a house for a little nothing. Like, well, that brother trying to work and get his money. No, you can't we're not doing that no more. You don't get to come and eat off of us and sell us BS products because you're trying to get your money. Right now, we care much more about the collective than the individual. So we will get you. You can't be here. You can't come here with that no more. That's the page we got to be on. We got to see these people clear, because it's just like, and understand something. When I talk, I'm always talking about white supremacy is the worst. In terms of the thing that has put in place all of this. It's white capital that has put in place all these people as pawns. That don't mean they're not pawns, though. Now, the thing there are degrees to this thing. The thing I want going most is white supremacy and the people who put these puppets in play. But I need to get these puppets out of play, too. You can't be here. Not talking to me, not in my space. You can't be in my space talking like that. You can't be in my space not understanding that a home or whatever is a communal asset. You can't be in my space, but you talking about you doing business, but then I leave and you talking to grandmama about you can have this card and you can come. We have elderly day. We have over 65 day at the gambling hall. No. Thank you, Clementine Dixon. I appreciate it. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't be here no more. You're excluded. You got my grandmama over here. And then you're not even talking about the amount of elderly people who going to get robbed outside the gambling hall. Well, grandmama got her pocketbook took. We got to go buy her food. What was grandmama doing over there at the casino? What was she doing? Cousin Regina came over there. She worked for Gamble Inc. now. And she came over there and gave grandma a card. And the card that she gave grandma already had $50. So when grandmama got over there and she got out the car, it was getting a little bit dark. And they snatched her pocketbook. Listen, the cousin that gave grandmama the card can't come back no more. She's banned. Not Thanksgiving, not Christmas, not nothing. You got to start making assessments. You got to start making assessments. So, I'm coming up on an hour. So, I am going to get ready for the calls. So, give me about 5 minutes or probably 3. Set it up and we'll be back to get ready. Because I want to hear what y'all got to say. Because I know how I feel. And I know how I feel about what happened. But I want to hear what everybody has to say about this whole making bets things. And even like we don't hear about crypto no more. Where your crypto people go? Anyway. 3 minutes, set up the phones, and we'll take your calls and we'll have a conversation. going on, Breaking Brown family? We are back. Let me see who we got on the phones. Let's see who we got on this telephone now. The lines are full as usual. So I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna go on and get to the first caller. I am going to 919. I'm coming to you, 919. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, Yvette.
Hey, what's going on?
Louisiana.
What's going on, Louisiana?
Hi, I'm calling from Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay.
Yes. So I just wanted to say that my family has been affected by everything you've ever mentioned since back when you were associated with boys.
Okay.
But specifically on tonight's topic, I can remember since I was in elementary school, we used to take trips to Virginia so my family could play the lottery, because back then in North Carolina the lottery wasn't legal. So we would literally truck to Virginia to play the lottery. And even now my family is constantly, now that the lottery is here in North Carolina, they're handing me scratch-off tickets to redeem for cash. And then they're also, here we call them casinos, but they're listed as sweepstakes, where people go and play fish tables. I hear people just say the tables and things like that, and machines and such.
The fish tables?
Excuse me. Yes. I don't know what it is, but that's what they say. They just say the tables. And it's literally, you can see these buildings within 7 miles of every urban low-income development. Okay. And now, this is also something that's very personal. Okay. I have a cousin of mine who is a gambling addict. When I was around 12, he had lost everything of his. Car, home, job, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was ridiculous. And he still has the same partner, and at the time they were my little cousins were 2 infant children. And we all had to live with my aunt, which was his mother at the time. Okay. My mom grew up with her nieces and nephews, and her sisters are 18 and 20 years older than her. They're boomers, or at least my oldest aunt was a boomer for sure. Okay. And then I have another cousin who was an athlete who also, he'll dabble in gambling, he says, but that probably means he does it. Yeah. And he has a sick child. She has Hodgkin's lymphoma. I have a feeling that would be something that he's willing to risk as far as sports gambling. Yeah. So basically, to sum it all up, it's everything, tonight that you said about gambling, the quote unquote possibilities, I mean, that's definitely what it is. People from my family, I see it. My family has lost everything from gambling. They go to the fishbowl. They basically use tickets, lottery tickets as cash. As a means to make it day to day, not even necessarily to build wealth. Yeah. I understand. So, that in itself, what you were mentioning about trauma. Yeah. That's, of course, traumatic, to the family. But then on a larger scale, on a communal scale, it's traumatic to the entire black community. Yeah. Yeah. Because what can addicts do, right? You, as a community, you need people to kind of be beneficial and to work and on a path to something that we're going to benefit from communally. An addict of anything, I don't care whether you're a gambling addict, I don't care whether you're a crack addict, I don't care whether you just stay high on weed all day and you just, man, I don't know, I just been high. What? What happens is that you're no benefit to my politics. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm well, Yvette says she's opposed to marijuana legislation. No, but I'm opposed to people that stay high. In addiction, if you, people mistake, weed is natural. That don't mean you need, every time I come over here, you high. Why? It's just, it's a problem. I don't think that we understand
how, like, in terms of what we need to do as opposed to what we can do, because we have a lot of people who are addicted, and I'm not blaming them for being addicted. What I'm saying is that they're prime. These are prime targets because of what black people have been through. I don't need you to put something else in their community that's going to addict them further. If anything, I need you to take this stuff out. And what they'll say is like, well, we're going to bring jobs. We're going to bring jobs to your community. Yeah, they're going to be minimum wage jobs. And so you're going to have people in my family who work a minimum wage job and make a little bit of money basically at a facility that takes money from their relatives. That's not of any kind of benefit for me. This is a scam and a con where you get to extract money from us on the bottom. We already on the bottom, and you get to come in and take money from us based on some kind of dream that you relate to us because you got it's glitzy and it's bright and it's all that stuff. Like, we don't, it's not good.
Right, it's wiping us out. As you and Tone have said from the Byron Allen interview, as y'all always reference, I watched it. Mm-hmm. It's the economic genocide. Yep. They're just, kind of just clearing us out.
Yeah, making way. Yep. I agree. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate you calling in with, like, a real life example, like with your own family. I appreciate that, because there are some people who maybe don't have it, or maybe you are not close enough to your family or whatever. But, like, this is life. Like, just because you don't understand doesn't mean this isn't life. Right? And I don't, like, you have, and as an individual, you have to get yourself into a space where you, like, I don't need to gamble, like, on the off chance that I might win $5K. Like I said earlier, I've been to Vegas. I've been to a lot of different places. Never gambled, though. Never gambled. Well, Yvette, how you go there and don't gamble? Cause why would I gamble? Why would I put $20 in anything? Why would I go and play a game? I know I'm gonna lose. And even if I didn't lose, why would I do it? I don't make money. So like enough money to, like, go and risk. Like, you need to be making like $1 million a year at least to go and risk like $100. I ain't finna risk $100 for no what. Like, show me to a nice sandwich. Anyway, I appreciate you, Carla, for giving us, like, yeah, that's what they do. People go to their day to day. Like, I hope I can. Well, this scratch off, I got 10 on here. I'm going to use this for whatever, and I'm going to get this, and this is the excitement. But see, that's what happens, and I don't mean to get philosophical, but that's what happens when there's no meaning in your life. So what's happened in America for black people is that they've stripped us of meaning. Other people get to go and, like, experiment with their lives and do creative stuff and all kind, but we don't get to do none of that stuff. There's no meaning. So we try to, like, find meaning in, like, well, one day I'm going to hit it big, and until that time, I'm just gonna scrap, right? And that's not meaningful, but we kind of think it's meaningful because that's all we got. And they put it there for us for a reason. These people don't like us. So anyway, I'm going to area code 313 now. 313, I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Yvette? This is Nate from Detroit.
What's going on, eh?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, yeah, I was listening to the program. You talking about some good stuff here. I know you're not asking me to give up my lottery tickets, though.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't play the lottery. I don't play at all.
You don't play.
I don't play. But, like, if you're a person who just goes whenever it's really big and just picks up one, I don't fault you. You know what I mean? But, like, for a lot of us, it's an addiction. It's like we just be on it all the time. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm not saying, like, throw it all away. Like, if this, like, when it gets big, I just go pay $2. I'm not saying that, but, like, if you see that as a route out, like, of your situation, or you're playing that as, like, well, and you telling your friends, when I get this, I'm gonna go and buy X, Y, and you planning stuff out, like I remember, like, 4 years ago, the lottery was really big, and I bought one ticket. And I paid $2 for that ticket. And I knew when I bought that ticket, I just threw it away. I just threw away $2. Like, but people be thinking, like, no, like, it's going to be me. And I'm just going to think positively. If that's how you thinking about it, yeah, I don't gamble. I just try to be comfortable. I don't do all that. But go on, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. No, I don't either. I mean, my expectations are so low. I'll be looking to get just like $40 to pay my light bill or something like that. Hey, listen. The Super Bowl, the last Super Bowl, had the smallest audience in 9 years, and
good.
the industry and capital is flexing the control to collect revenue. And I really honestly think they're trying to get viewership back up to get people back into the matrix. But now, when Trump came in the office, he said he was going to drain the swamp. Now,
he did.
Now, in my opinion, Obama already started draining the swamp when he got us on the housing, the labor laws through Uber, ad revenue. He wasn't giving black folks those ad revenues. He cut food stamps back $8 billion. Now Trump come in, he got home tax credits no longer. He cut all those senior benefits. Now he's doing something with Section 8. My grandmother's on Section 8. And he even cut the food stamps again. So my question is, and now, like, I'm in Detroit. Detroit is a complete food desert. They just now started closing a lot of the Krogers. So what I'm asking you is the United States draining the swamp? And they just, because you said they're on a decline. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So are they trying to get all their money out before they dine and dash?
But you know what I said, Carla? I think you read something I said. I said something. Maybe I said on Facebook. I don't even remember. Like 2 years ago, I said that I called this era that we're in the Great Extraction, and the reason why I called it that, when you see the number of like multimillionaires who are leaving, who are saying, I don't need my American citizenship, I'm just gonna go over here. I think what they're doing. Listen, a lot of what's happening is that since we're on the decline, a lot of the money is not going to necessarily be made here. Now we got Bezos and all these people, and they still got extraction places for us. But like when you look at where money is made when countries are emerging. So you see a lot of people, like when you see India right now, you see a lot of the new billionaires coming out of India, right? Because that's an emerging country. And so what's happening is, like, I think a lot of these people are saying, listen, we're going to snatch everything we can from the U.S. and we're going to try to make a bunch of money in emerging countries with emerging economies. Well, that's not good. That's not good for us. We're on the decline. But what they'll tell you is, like, we don't care. Like, we're going to make some more. People in China or people in India are going to make money. And so if Americans lose their lifestyle, while some people get a better lifestyle in these countries, not most and certainly not all, we don't care. So I do think there's kind of a dine and dash mentality, but these people have a dine and dash mentality everywhere. See, there used to be a time you couldn't just go somewhere else and get labor. You had to do what was at least sort of right we had some kind of leverage as government, because these people couldn't go nowhere else to get labor. Well, NAFTA changed all that. You can go anywhere and get labor now. So you don't have to be in America. So you don't have to necessarily be beholden to American politicians, which is why I like to see all of this stuff we done. Which is why I'm kind of in favor of a sort of nationalism, because this globalism is not good for us as a country. But I believe in terms of your point that, like, yeah, I think people are kind of dining and dashing. I'm gonna get what I gotta get, and I don't care. Because these people don't have any allegiance to country. Like, it's funny people talk about us being patriotic. These people who are multimillionaires and billionaires, they're not patriotic. They don't care. They just want to go get money. And they can live anywhere, anytime. They can catch a plane and be anywhere, anytime. They don't have any allegiance to any country. And I don't have any allegiance to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I got one more question.
Sure.
Okay, now with everything I just mentioned about what's been taken away, and we're trying to get into this political realm of, like, I guess really building our consciousness back up to get back into asking for something politically. They have pulled the goalposts back so much, so that if we are to ask for something, we're still going to be getting less than what we already had, let's say 10 years ago.
Expound on that for me. Expound on that for me. What do you mean less than 10 years ago?
Okay, like Obama cut food stamps $8 billion.
Yep.
I'm not even sure what Trump cut them. I know he cut them again. So let's just use food stamps for example. So say we go and we fight for getting food stamps. Now they didn't already cut it. How much are we going to still be getting less than what we were getting before the $8 billion cut? Just a very simple example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's certainly possible, but you got to get that back. Like, I don't think people understand. You know, one of the things that I hate is that welfare has been made into such an awful word. Like, welfare really is about how far can you fall. Like, if you live in the richest country in the world, how far can you fall? Like, how far are you allowed to fall? Like, if you, not only the people like, well, you work 40 hours. No, I don't care. If I live here, especially if I'm a group of people who came from people who built this country with free labor, like, I shouldn't be able to fall. Like, not that low. Like, so welfare is about, like, how far, like, you're allowing people to fall. Do people get to fall to the bottom and have nothing? Do they get to be homeless because they lost a job or whatever the case may be? And so, like, having a robust welfare like system or welfare program is a very good thing. Because welfare isn't welfare like, oh, you're going to hand out. Welfare is like, no, we're not going to let you starve on the street. And that's a good thing. Like, the richest country in the world should not let its citizens starve on the street or not have mental health care. So we close all the crazy house, you know, the mental institutions down, right? And so, you know, Reagan did that. So it's just like, dude, like, you have to, why are we in favor of, like, well, just let him fall. He's going to do what he's going to do. What do you mean? So I think that, like, part of the thing is, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I understand what you're saying. Okay, now, when I came up like the late 80s, early 90s, more like mid 80s. And I said I was raised on welfare. I didn't mean that. Welfare helped stabilize my home with everything that we went through.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I don't see us going to bat to get anything close to what welfare was in the mid 80s to early 90s. I just don't see it happening. I think we might get a fraction of that. But, I mean, my overall question is there something else we need to be doing, not in addition to political action?
Well, you know, part of the things that...
You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, I think in terms of in addition to political action, right? So I'm never saying, like, part of the thing we have to do with our own families in terms of the conversations that we have to have that are uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that you can't do business. I'm just saying that black business without black politics is dead. So that's what I'm saying. So I think, you know, I agree with you that, like, as it stands right now, it will be a problem. We might not get what we got. But, like, I don't know. See, the thing is, like, I can't get enough Native black people to the point of trying to where I can assess what will happen. If I could get enough Native black people to say, okay, then I could assess, okay, how can we move these black people in a way that is beneficial? But I can't get enough people to the starting line to even make that assessment for you. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about on that part, because everybody think I'm crazy. To be honest.
Me too. But they're gonna learn, like, understand though. But understand.
That's all I got for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. But understand something, and you and everybody else understand one thing. Everybody's about to learn. Like, all these people who've been telling you, no, it's not that bad. You wrong. You know, we don't need this politics. We just got to be about. They all about to learn. They're all about to ask you for $20. And the question that you got to ask yourself right now is, what do I do when this person who has told me all this time that we don't need politics, well, I've been doing politics, and we don't need to save because we got money, and you just being too pessimistic? What do I do when they show up at my doorstep asking for $20? Because what's going to happen is that everybody's about to learn. We're pivoting towards, like, forget conservative America, liberal America. We're pivoting towards, like, libertarian America. So everybody going to learn. But it's about, too, how you're going to best teach that lesson. And what are you going to require in exchange when the person who told you that they didn't need politics and you were being pessimistic comes to you talking about the need for politics in their personal life? Ask yourself, what are you going to do and how are you going to respond? Because it's coming. So I'm going to 267. 267. What is your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Yvette. My name is Renee. I'm calling from Philadelphia. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm doing great. I love your show, and I love your topics. And I want you to be a call. I'm going to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I'm calling because what I'm seeing in Philadelphia is a pattern of addiction. Being driven I guess in the Philadelphia area. My father is personally, he's a gambling addict. And he has dementia. He's over 80.
Okay.
So he pretty much fits that demographic of older people who's trying to make their ship come in.
Okay. Yeah, you can't make that ship come in. The ocean is the ocean, but go on.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
So, an interesting thing happened in the last few years in Philadelphia. Before, we really didn't have like liquor stores in our supermarkets. So now, you know, now we have liquor stores in our supermarkets.
Okay.
And also we have, you know, these sports bet things coming in our neighborhood. It's going to be a problem. And also, in our neighborhood, I live in a section called Winfield.
Okay.
And they were trying to put an addiction facility in our neighborhood. So, and the guy was trying to make it sound like a country club, but the neighbors all came against it, and we got them kind of thrown out of the neighborhood. So not only are they trying to riddle our neighborhoods with addiction, they're also trying to riddle our neighborhoods with blight. Because my neighborhood is pretty much a pretty nice looking section in the city.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's a good thing that we had a lot of professionals to go against it. And it was funny because even a white person stood up and said, in the young here, and she said, "You're always trying to put these things in a black neighborhood." Yeah. To let them know that, you know, that we don't like these things in here. But
yeah, you gotta know.
Basically, yes, it's an attack.
Yeah, it's an attack. But let me just say something. You talk about one of the things you kind of alluded to, or one that's caused like older people wanting X, Y, and Z. And I'm not trying to be mean, but like, even if you read the Bible, no matter what, there are stages to life. There are stages to life. We have let a lot of old people come in and tell us, well, you know what I want to do, young buck? I want to start a trucking company on the corner of 45th and Boulevard. No. Let me tell you what you get to do. You get to figure out a hobby. I don't know whether you want to knit or whether you want to get a pet or whether you want to grow a garden. But we don't let people know that, like, your time, that it's not your time no more. You don't get to just go and be spending and trying to figure stuff out and doing all kind of wild stuff. It's not your time. Like, you sunset it, and now the sun is setting. Like, you peaked, and now, like, I already, even with myself, I've already, like, I'm not 25 no more. I already know, look, hey, it is what it is. And I'm prepared for when, like, 20 years from now, when I get old and I'm prepared. It is what it is. We have to let these people know, listen, there are stages to life, and you're on the other end. You don't get to come over here and tell me your hopes and dreams no more. The era of your hopes and dreams that's over. Now, I'm going to help you find hobbies and different things you want to do that are beneficial for your life. Right? I'm going to help you do that. But, like, you ain't finna start no biz. Hush. So, I mean, that's part of it, caller. I appreciate you calling. I want to try to get to another caller, but I appreciate you calling in and sharing your input. No, like, there are stages to life, and everybody has to understand what that stage is. And we have to understand that, like, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not a millennial. I'm not a whatever came after millennials. And I understand that, like, the millennials, this is their time to figure that stuff out. I would never be like Puff Daddy and, like, dancing on the stage and just trying to be next to somebody who's young just because I can keep the money and win the fire. You old. You old. You too old for that. You too old for all that jumping around. Don't your knees hurt? I'm a runner. I run all the time, and my knees will start to bother me. I'm like, I know I got to find something. I got to find an elliptical machine. I'm going to area code 617. 617. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yvette, it's Reggie from Boston. What's
happening? Going on?
Listen, I was chilling tonight, but y'all got me on fire. I mean, listen, like you said, everybody is really about to learn, and I got a comment and I don't want you to take this as pushback, Yvette.
No
I
problem.
want you to take it as a little bit of a piggyback.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Because when we're talking about sports betting and extracting, you know, the little bit of money that black men have from them, I feel like it's happened already. They got us losing bets already. Look at hip hop. Look at basketball. Look at football, and look at how much black men are investing in aspirations towards that. How much money are we putting into these middlemen? How much money are we putting into equipment, to training camps, to all of this stuff? And I'll take it even a step further. How many black men are putting it into quote unquote legitimate illegal entrepreneurship?
Oh,
it's a gamble.
That's true.
We're already shut out. We got black women selling hair. The Koreans already shut us out. They got us already. And what's happening is the middlemen are coming in. They've already come into the hair industry. They've already come into hip hop. They've already come into the sports industry, acting as middlemen, extracting the wealth that we already have. And let me say something to the black entrepreneurs, the black businessmen, quote unquote, because we really ain't got the wealth like that. You really have to control for blackness. And this is where people like Boyce get it wrong. They just say, save this much, invest this much. They don't control for the black condition of America. I'm going to give you an example from my own life. Because like I said, I have a business. That business is in real estate. The average or the median price for a single family home in South Boston is about $700K. Now that's all of Boston. You ain't dialed that down to the hood yet. You see what I'm saying? You get to the hood to where black people are a predominant part of the population. That price drops by at least 30 to 40%. What that means is I can sell or rent twice as many properties to get exactly what the white folks got. I'm not even controlling for discrimination to where if the black man shows up, I don't want to rent from him, I don't want to buy from him. I'm not even controlling for the fact that the white folks in Boston know people outside of Boston. I'm talking the exurbs. I'm talking Martha's Vineyards, where the homes go for $10 to $20 million, to where a white woman can get one listing in the exurbs and wipe me out for the whole year.
Wow.
Y'all don't understand how this shit is set up. Y'all really don't understand. From the scams to the gambling to the legitimate business, we are shut out. Yvette keeps saying it, Tone keeps saying it. You cannot do this without black politics to level the playing field. And we have a casino coming up as we speak. It's going up right outside of Boston. I don't even know if I can even call it a suburb, because you can get here, you can get to that casino that's about to come up by train or bus, or you can take an Uber to get there.
Okay.
They've already set this up. Nobody is getting anywhere without collective politics.
Nope.
Deal with the data before the data deals with you. That's all I gotta say, Yvette.
Ooh. Thank you, Reggie. No, that's your tag from now on, Reggie. Deal with the data before the data deals with you. Reggie said, deal with the data before the data deals with you. If that ain't the tagline of the century, that's a phenomenon. Deal with the data. Oh, I gotta remember that. And what you have to understand, even with what we talked about in terms of celebrity, like it destroys like this natural relationship. Did y'all see this Chris Bosh thing where the mama sued him because she said you was gonna take care of me for the rest of my life, and the house was in my name, and whatever you had me sign it out of my name because I was getting divorced. I thought I was giving it back to you for just a divorce proceedings, but now it's yours, and you were supposed to take care of me. And y'all, like, capital is just you think it's beneficial to have a kid doing that, but like, it's just destroying your relationships. And capital comes in and benefits off all of that. That's what happens. And shout out to the person in terms of my niece who was like, I'm selling glucosamine. I know running is damaging. I got to get on an elliptical. I just ran since high school, and I actually enjoy running, but my knees and my hips ain't gonna be. So it's awful. I gotta get it right. I understand. So, some people get older and they just start. I just started running. You're too old. Listen, once you cap off at about 35, you can't do that no more. You better go find an elliptical machine. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm very frugal. I don't want to pay a gym membership. Anyway, I'm going to 484. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Yvette, this is Justin calling from the suburbs of Philadelphia. How are you?
What's going on? I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thanks. I just want to say I've been watching the show for about a year and a half now, and
Appreciate
this is a top-notch show. I mean, no problem. You're just laying it out, and if people don't understand what you're saying on this show, then they just ain't trying to understand what you're saying. But I wanted to bring up something. I don't think anyone mentioned this yet. I think you'll have to look at suicide as a major problem with this sports betting thing going on in our country right now. You're going to see a lot of people who can't handle losing a bunch of money at once because obviously we don't have a bunch of money. And I think I hate to say it, but you're going to see that number tick up in the black community, unfortunately. And not Africans, not Caribbeans, but native blacks who descend from slaves. We're the ones who don't have no money. Second, that casino you showed in the video, I literally used to work right next to it in Philadelphia, and I worked in a luxury condo in Philly, and I would see people, just the black people, mind you, I hate to say it, but the few black people who lived in this luxury condo, they would go run over to Sugar House, that's the name of the casino, and they go waste all their money. And you never saw any of the white residents going into that casino. It was even with black folk who made higher incomes, they made their way over to that casino. And I've been inside that casino. It is one depressing place.
Really?
That's where Social Security is really, absolutely. It's where Social Security checks go to die, is what I say. And it's awful. And they're continuing to build onto that casino, and they're also building another casino in South Philadelphia near the Eagles football stadium. So, they're going to, like you said, extract all the money they can out of poor black folk. It's just that's what's going on here in Philadelphia, unfortunately. I also wanted to make a mention about Bitcoin.
Okay.
I think you're probably going to see a kind of like a rise in Bitcoin again, because now you're going to see people saying you can bet with your cryptocurrency. Mark Cuban, he said that this morning on CNBC, that they were asking him who are the winners and who are the losers, and amongst the winners, he said you're going to see these cryptocurrencies coming back into in vogue. So, I mean, they're going to hit us with the gambling. They're going to hit us with the Bitcoin. It's really not safe for us out here right now.
God, it's like a perfect storm. It's like a freaking perfect storm. Like they're just gonna hit us with everything. Like we don't want. I mean, but I want to thank you, Carl. I appreciate it. But yeah, I agree. Like, go ahead. I'm sorry. Did you have another point? I'm sorry. Hello?
This is slightly off topic, but I agree with you on Cynthia Nixon using the term reparations. It may have been a little out of turn, but we need more politicians to normalize that word. And she was right in some ways about marijuana, the marijuana industry being sort of a reparations for mass incarceration, because a lot of us are in jail right now because of silly marijuana convictions.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah, we'll talk about that another time, though. But it was a Cynthia Nixon comment I made about on Facebook. So if you want to see what he's talking about, you can go on my Facebook. It's public. And I think I maybe late last week or early this week, I don't remember, but probably late last week, I put the post up. Now I am going to my next caller. I'm going to 240. What is your name and where you calling from?
How you doing, Yvette and Breaker Brown family? This is Roz from the
Roz?
Hey, lady, I was like Reggie. I was gonna tell the niggas, listen, but you had hit a topic that I just heard about today with the Supreme Court decision, and it's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I got a couple things to say about that. One, the topic is sports betting. I remember Sugar Ray Leonard is from right around in my area, in Prince George's County.
Okay.
I remember when he was boxing in his prime. I mean, I was younger and I was a little girl, but I remember he had said in an interview how one of his neighbors over in Palmer Park. Now, Palmer Park, that's like a poor section of Prince George's County, but it's all black. But he said, "Yeah, man, you gotta win this. You gotta win this fight tonight, man. I put my house up, his house, for him to win." Do you realize how much it would take for somebody to put up their residence with their family? He said, "Man, if you don't win this fight, my wife and kids won't have anywhere to stay." That shows you how deep this gambling addiction is for a lot of people. And I remember that. I said, wait a minute, this man put up his house so his family won't have anywhere to stay if this man did not win this fight. It's not even something the man had control over. You don't go up into the boxing ring and box for Ray. You got to sit back and watch what he does and see if your family is going to be able to stay there.
Yeah.
In Prince and Maryland alone, we have MGM Grand just got set up here in the county, Arundel Mills, and in Baltimore there's a gambling casino. So we have like casinos all in Maryland that people are going and spending money and in hopes of trying to make some money. I don't know. That's just something people are doing. But I'm looking at the other side of things. I'm saying, like, what about these athletes that are playing like college ball, baseball, basketball, whatever the case may be? They're projecting $15.8 billion a year in sports betting. These athletes are going into these schools, and it reminds me of an artist. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, Hank Willis Thomas. He's a visual artist. Are you familiar with his work?
I am not.
Okay, he has images of football players. They're black, and it's a football player. He's been crouched down like he's about to. He's in his 4-point stance on the line, and across from him is a black man crouched down picking cotton. So we could draw the parallels from that. You have black men playing basketball, and instead of a hoop, basketball hoop, it's a rope that's hung like they're being lynched. They're dunking the ball and hanging their arms into the lynch hoop. So he's drawing parallels with a lot of his sports artwork, like, okay, you're doing all this playing, but you're still on the plantation of sports. So, I mean, it's really powerful. You can look at some of his work online, but, I mean, I went to see it at the Corcoran.
Okay.
But his name is Hank Willis Thomas, and he has some powerful work. But I'm looking at, we're still going from one plantation to another plantation of betting and gambling, to another plantation of these kids that I'm working with and teaching. They're dying to be professional athletes and get on that plantation, whether it's in college or in the pros, because they're going to be gambling on the college teams and on the pro teams. I mean, it's scary who's going to be next to put up their house.
Woo-wee! Who's going to be next to put up your house? That's what we face in Black America. It's a perfect storm. I mean, I appreciate you calling in, Carl. I'm trying to get to the next one. But yeah, it's a perfect storm. Who's going to be next? Who's next? And we don't even know what these people are going to do. Like, you don't even know what they're going to be like. Well, they coming for me. I owe $10,000. I've been betting. And, they said they're going, you don't know what these people going to do or how they going to be trying to, all these different gambling houses, how they going to be trying to collect. You don't know how this is going to work in each individual state and how this could impact your people and your family. This could be catastrophic. Well, it will be catastrophic. The question is, will it be catastrophic just in terms of the money or just in terms of the addiction or like how is it going to play out? There's no way that it's not catastrophic because we got too much other stuff that's already set up against us and implemented intentionally to kind of designate us to be on the bottom. So there is no question. I'm going to 404 now. 404, what is your name and where you calling from?
Yes, how you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Brown family. I just recently started listening to your show. Was introduced by my daughter.
Ah, and, good.
Yeah, so I actually live in Atlanta, but I'm from Baltimore, and they built a casino. And the lady that was just speaking, she mentioned this, but
yeah,
they built a casino in Maryland, Baltimore City, and they got the voters to agree with it by saying that they were doing it to help fund education.
Same thing with the lottery here. Same thing with the lottery in Georgia. But go on, Carl. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and the sad part about it is, when I was first listening to you talk, I was just wondering, when we're talking about the people that are playing the lotto and gambling and into this, that might get into the sports gambling, we're talking about a lot of people who have these very maladaptive thought patterns. I'm a psychotherapist, and I deal with a lot of people that have these addictions, and they have gambling problems, and I've also had it in my family.
Okay.
And when I look at my family members that have been dealing with gambling issues and stuff, and I mean some serious gambling issues, problems,
okay,
they had been to the point where they were literally dealing with traumatic, and they were doing this stuff when they were younger,
okay,
and we didn't pick up on it. And so when they got older, that's when they had families, and they started gambling away their rent money, and families breaking up because of it, and stealing money, and I mean, it became obsessive with them. But the thing about it is, it's not just the fact that they gotta get into politics, because they can't get into politics because they can't get over what they're dealing with on internal.
Yep.
So these thought patterns that they have, it's hard to break them from that. If we can't break them from the way they see life and see everything else, it's a little hard to try to make them understand, okay, you need to fight for this and not, this is happening to you. But they don't really get that part because they can't figure out what's happening to themselves. And, all these things are just programming. They're programming on social media, they're programming, with this commercialism, they're programming with the liquor store, on every corner in Baltimore City, especially in the main city, the money that they were supposed to be using for education didn't go nowhere for education because they were cutting budgets every single school season, that they didn't even have librarians in the school, they didn't have assistant principals, they didn't have substitute teachers, the schools they didn't have books or none of that kind of stuff, but yet they said that's where the money was supposed to go. So it's just a big lie, and some people are probably feeling frustrated because they don't really know what to do, and they're thinking what I do is not going to matter, so I'm going to live my life and do what I can to take care of me. And they got this false premise that, this is how it's going to happen, because that casino that they built in Baltimore City is beautiful inside. They programmed that very well, the way they made that casino. I mean, it's filled with restaurants and filled with entertainment, anything they can to keep. And guess where it is?
Where?
It's right off of the Beltway, right by the two stadiums. You got the Ravens and the Orioles right there. Everything is right, the inner harbor, all of that. So it's the first thing you see when you come into the city. As soon as you come off the expressway, it's right there. And the Trailways Greyhound bus station is next to it. So, and then the hotel is across the street. So it's centered, and that's exactly where the projects and the high-rises used to be that they knocked down to build the stadium. So it's a programming. They are programming this so you can get to it it's just as easy as walking down a street. So, but again, they doing this right in the areas where they know these people, they have their lives on the inside. It's so messed up. They don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't understand this thing. And you say politics to them, you're speaking a foreign language.
Yeah. And a lot of them, like you say, you're a psychotherapist. Like a lot of these people are just trying to escape like the inner turmoil that they feel. Or like this inner trauma. They're just trying to get away from it. And like gambling is something that provides their brain with like some euphoria that kind of takes them away from it and makes them feel like what I talked about earlier, like having a meaning, but something away from this stuff that I feel. And we don't ever deal with the stuff that they feel and why they feel it. We just deal with like, well, you shouldn't go gamble. No, it's deeper than that. And we have to like understand that. But we can't be paying for it. I can't pay for your habit. I can't. It's not even about what I want to do. We can't afford to like, well, give you 20 because you was at the casino. No, I can't do it. Like maybe you just don't eat for 3 days. You know, and I'm not saying it to be mean. People be like, well, Yvette, you're being cruel. No, you'll survive. Like, as long as you have water, you'll be okay. You will survive. But I need you to understand that nobody's going to subsidize this thing. We got to get them. You want me to help you get this thing figured out? I will do that. I will be there with you in the process. Yeah. But I'm not going to give you money to subsidize this thing that just enriches white capital and strips you of your life and any meaning to your life, and it strips your community. I cannot do that. So I have to find a way to have some tough love on one hand while being there for you on the other hand. Like, but that's something we have to do. And you can't go get no mate who's like, no, I'm betting on this, and so let me just watch this. No, I can't. Listen, I wrote you a letter. I can't do it. I got to go. So, no, you're right, Carla, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in as a psychotherapist with it.
Some of us enable our family members, and by supporting that, or they put up with it, or they don't leave them when they destroy the family with their gambling addictions and stuff like that. But how about we try to get them help to see somebody?
Yeah, and if you don't want to do help, then you can call me when you do, because I'm gone. Like, you can call me when you do, but I'm leaving. I'm leaving like right now. I'm not gonna be standing there 5 years later. Well, you've been suffering with an addiction. Listen, no. I got to go. I can't deal with this. I'm not dealing with this. Yeah. You're not taking my whole check to the casino. That's what I'm not doing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not gonna sit here and have to look with one eye open. Is he in my pocketbook? Is he in my pocketbook? Like, I can't. I'm not gonna live that way with anybody. And there's no law that demands that I live that way with anybody. You're going to have to, I will help you figure your stuff out when you decide that you want to. Until then, I have to go. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go somewhere and do some politics. And, like, I'm going to, like, we don't understand, like, part of, thank you, Carla, I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in. But part of what has to happen is that, like, and I was having this conversation, we got to learn how to live slow. And people, I have a small life, but part of having a small life or having a life you can afford is being able to live slow. What do you mean even live slow? I cook slow. Run somewhere, get a little Cajun season, top it in. Run over here, get a little lemon salt, top it in, or whatever. And then it's a slow way that you kind of absorb. Like, I'm going to cook in a way that's beneficial to me, and in a way that like, I understand what I'm eating is food from my own hand, and that's the same way I'm going to, like, I like poetry. I will read, but I read slow and with deep meaning. That's what you just can't be out here running where? You don't have enough money to be running like that. You're going to hurt yourself. So I'm going to go to my last caller. I'm going to 336. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there?
Yes, hello, Yvette. This is Tracy calling from North Carolina.
What's going on?
Yes, how you doing there? It's Yvette. We definitely got to put it up for you while you were talking.
You breaking up a little bit for me. I can't hear you. You said what?
Yes. How about now?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I got the stats ready for you, Miss Yvette. I've been working on it while you've been talking. Got you covered. We got here on usnews.com. We got it right here. In the 1960s, unmarried women were the main breadwinners for 20% of households. In recent years, the percentage has risen as high as 72%. Okay. This means that as high as 72% of the households are unmarried women just supporting themselves and their kids. As you can see, that's not going to work. There is no high percentage for marriages because people are not able to afford the marriage. Black Americans today are also more dependent on government aid than they were in 1968. Currently, almost 40% of African Americans are poor enough to qualify for welfare, housing assistance, and other government programs. I broke down the numbers for you, what that means to be poor enough. Okay, if you had a household size of 1, let's say you live in the state of North Carolina, you can only make $1,307 a month. That equals $8 an hour. If you have 2 people in the home, this is you and your child, you can make $1,760 a month. That is $11 an hour. We all know we can't live off that. And if you have 3 people in your home, this would be you, your spouse, and your child. Don't even get started if you have more kids. Forget about it. You can only make $2,213. Both of you would have to make $7 an hour. That is less than any minimum wage in our whole entire country. You can't make that. It's not even allowed. Now, if you look here, we got one more stat for you. We need to bring this up. usnews.com. If you look here, they are locking our kids out of education. We got the stats right here. It says that Black Americans are suspended and expelled at 3 times the rate of white students. They make up 16% of school enrollment, but account for 32% of students who receive in-school suspension. 42% of students who receive multiple out-of-school suspensions, and 34% of students who are expelled. So they're blocking us, Yvette. We got the numbers right here. They won't let us go to school. They won't let us get government aid. And in order to get it, you have to basically quit your job. And as you can see here, I was having this conversation with a friend who has a physical disability, and they were saying that, like, in order to apply for any kind of disability, that she would have had to have been out of work a year. But her whole point is, but I can't eat if I'm out of work a year. So even if I have to work in extreme pain, I have to work. And so it's like they got us set up in this catch-22, and they got everybody convinced that, like, if you get a disability, you must be just a gooper, right? You must be just a user. So they got all these traps set up, and, like, there has not been any kind of political movement or political conversation to help us see the traps and then see what we got to do to, like, politically be like, y'all got to remove all these traps. I ain't no bear. Like, what, there has been no conversation about that, right? So, yeah, I think you're right. They're going to trap you. I mean, even when we do everything we're supposed to do in this movement and we get somewhere, they're going to build another trap. They are 3 to 4 steps ahead of us. And we need people like you, Yvette. We're going to keep supporting this movement.
Thank you. I appreciate
because we got a lot of people who go out there and spread this false information about you. They spreading false information about your brother Tone. They're spreading other false information about your other peers just to bring down the movement. And you have never done anything but get on YouTube, give us the facts, and bring us up.
You ain't lying.
People like you, Yvette, keep doing what you are doing. We need this movement to go on.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Carla. No, but I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think part of the whole push to, like, Tone and Yvette just ask for government handouts. No, I'm not asking for that. I'm telling you, government's putting out traps. And what you're telling me is that, well, Yvette, why don't you just jump around the traps? I can teach you how to jump left, 2 steps left, then tip, tip, tip right, and then like you avoid the bear trap. Oh, and over here they gonna set up like they got a mine buried, so you got to jump real high and then flat back down. Like it's just like, what are you talking about? Why don't you just like, if the government is the one that's putting out the traps, can we like collectively get together and be like, and the trap is wealth. Like that's intergenerational wealth that we don't have, that we built this country with our free labor. Like we need that going. That's what we need. I don't need you talking to me about how like, well, you just gotta, if you just jump real high, 34 feet, and then you just slide, like, you know how electric slide, you just slide. No, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to know, because it's the traps are only in my neighborhood. The traps ain't in everybody else's neighborhood. So you got all these traps over here, and instead of like dealing with the people who dig the holes and put the traps down, you want to teach me how to jump higher than I jumped last time. I don't want to do that. I just want to deal with the people who are putting these, because these traps are intentional. These traps didn't just fall in my neighborhood. They were very intentional. And like now America's on the decline as opposed to the incline, and I still gotta deal with these traps. And you're telling me that like, no, we can build businesses among the traps. It's just you just don't know how to do it. And I'm gonna teach you how to do it. No, that's not how it works. What are you talking about? So anyway, Breaking Brown family, we're coming to the end of the show. I appreciate everybody coming here as usual to talk about these politics and talk about stuff that we also have, that we talk about every week. But one of the things you have to realize is that government has to not only kind of like show you where the traps are at, like it's government's jobs to make sure people don't, like Capitol puts traps in our neighborhood. It's government's jobs to be like, you can't do that. You can't put traps in their neighborhood. That's not right. That's what the subprime thing was about. The subprime thing was like everybody got to come into black neighborhoods and give us, even if we had good credit, you had to come in here and give us all this BS subprime mortgages and stuff just because you could use us. You get to come in here and do payday loans. You get to come in here and do all this garbage to us, and the government is supposed to say you can't do that. They're supposed to develop regulations to say, no, you can't do that to them. And this is also about holding government to account. This is a failure. Sports betting will destroy black family because you got all these little betting mechanisms and you get hyped up. Oh, I can do this for my family. I can do this, and you just want to bet. I need government to say, no, you got to put a bill out and say, this is, no. This is how this is going to be regulated. Maybe we got it wrong the first time, but we're going to regulate this in a way that makes sense the second time from Congress. These are things that have to happen. Government, remember what I said last time, government is never neutral. Government always takes a side. And what I need to happen, I need for government to take my side and your side. That's what I need. I don't need all this other stuff people are talking about. I need for government always takes a side, but it's been taking the side of white capital, which is the only capital. When you gonna take my side? Because I need you to not only get the traps out of my neighborhood, I need you to tell people that you can't put no more traps in black people's neighborhoods. The traps is over with. So can we do that? So thank you, Breaking Brown family. I appreciate you. Please like, please share. And Wednesday we'll be back again talking politics. So get some rest. I know we gotta get up, go to work, and do a whole bunch of stuff in the morning. Finish your chamomile tea, and we'll do this again.